Thank you very much, and we look forward to your leadership over the next 4 years. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce one who will take over the position of president, who assumes the position of president from today. This is an exciting time for TUCA. Indeed, it's an exciting time for any organization in transition when one leader gets to hand over, in this case, the virtual baton to another leader. We are so excited at the Trade Union Confederation of the Americas to be receiving our dear brother Fred Redmond as the new president of TUCA with an initial mandate for the next 4 years. Fred comes to us with a background. He, as a member of the United Steelworkers, he is from the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists. He's affiliated to the AFL-CIO. He has extensive experience working, pursuing democracy on behalf of people who need it, not only people of race, people of color, but on behalf of workers all over. And today he starts a new journey, a journey in this region that not only adds to a very impressive resume, because in the trade union movement, that's not what we're about, but it is a journey that takes another step, advances another step for him in the pursuit of democracy, in the pursuit of rights, in the pursuit of decency for people of this region. Fred, we are so glad to have you. We know that under your leadership, you will continue the outstanding work that has been started by our brother Hassan and others, but more so, we know that you will bring your own flair to it. You will bring your own style to it. You will bring your own ideas to it, and you will enhance the work that has begun, and you will take this movement, the Trade Union Confederation of the Americas, from strength to strength. We are excited to have you. We look forward to your leadership. And now the floor is yours as you greet the Trade Union Confederation of the Americas for the first time as its president, and you share your vision with us. We expect we will hear a lot more of it in the council meeting and in meetings to come. And it will also be your task to bring this fourth Congress of the Trade Union Confederation of the Americas to a close. Welcome, Brother Fred.
Well, thank you, Sister Tony, or should I say, Madam Vice President. You don't know how good it feels for me to recognize you, Tony, as our new Vice President. Thank you very much. To the members of the TUCA Executive Council, to the Congress delegates, and to all of the honored guests, it is, first of all, with great pride, but with great humility that I accept the honor of leading the Trade Union Confederation of the Americas for the next 4 years. I want to first of all thank Hassan Youssef for his leadership. I first met Hassan after he got elected to the president of the CLC in Canada. I really think that tribute was very accurate and reflected the activism that he have displayed toward workers, not just in Canada, but throughout the world. Hassan, once again, we thank you for everything that you have done for the TUC. And to our General Secretary, Rafael Freire, who, look, I have learned a lot from Rafael over the past few weeks and few months, and I hope to learn a lot more. From Rafael, from Cicero and Jordania, from Tony. We have a great team, and I look forward of working with each and every one of you as we move the TUC forward. And to have Victor Baez here today, and to address our Congress this morning. To me, that was very special. You know, the presence of Victor and the work that he have done within the TUCA and throughout the ITUC, he has impacted the lives of so many workers throughout the Americas and throughout this world. And it's just special for me to have Victor here today. And I want to thank my brother, my friend for many, many years, Richard Trumpka, the president of the AFL-CIO, the leader of the American labor movement. I thank Rich for his activism and for his vision of the labor movement and for the way that he viewed those of us in this movement and our movement, and have really, really opened up the doors of the labor movement to people that look like me in order to make a difference in this movement that we love so much. So I want to thank you, President Trumpka, and to Ken Newman. Ken is the National Director of Canada for my union, the United Steelworkers. Ken is here with us today. Ken has been a good and special friend of mine for over the years. He's been a mentor to me as our Canadian National Director and one of the most senior members in terms of seniority on our executive board. And I want to thank my union, the Steelworkers, for allowing me to do this work that I feel so passionate about, and this work that I really enjoy, and this work that I feel is absolutely necessary if we are to build a strong movement and be a strong voice on behalf of workers. And I want to send a special thanks to my sister, Linda Chavez Thompson, former president of the ITUC, for her leadership, her wisdom, and her encouragement, and for being a mentor to me throughout the years. And before I go any further, I just want to take a minute to remember the comrades that we have lost over the past 4 years. I especially honor our brothers, Joan Felicio, KG Jacobson, and Gustavo Cotis for their leadership, support, and counsel to the TUCA through many difficult struggles. Brother Joe, Comrade Kelji, and Comrade Gustavo Presente, our thoughts are with you today, and as we go through the next 4 years, we will always call your name because it's your spirit and your activism that have brought us to the federation that we are today. And also the United States labor movement. We lost a true giant of our movement last year when John Sweeney, the former president of the AFL-CIO, made his transition. John was a strong supporter of TUCA, and we really miss him every day as a voice for workers, former president of the AFL-CIO, and he was known, loved, and respected by trade unionists throughout the United States. Look, these great leaders, they have set a high standard for us to follow. And indeed, we have much, much work to do. This week, a police officer in Minneapolis was found guilty of the murder of a Black man named George Floyd. But the fight for justice, it must and will continue. Because, comrade, Black lives matter. You know, in every country in the world. And we have to make sure that the world understands that Black lives is important, they matter, and must be respected. The terrible pandemic that continues to ravage our nation has starkly revealed the cost of inequality, racism, and unbridled capitalism for the peoples of this hemisphere. And the destruction of our natural environment by unregulated market forces is causing climate change, with the most severe impact on workers, farmers, and marginalized populations. And increasingly, democratic institutions are under attack. What my country learned from the assault on the United States Capitol on January the 6th is something that most of you have understood all your lives: the fragility of democracy in the face of uncontrolled economic and political power. I really think that people in my country now have a better understanding that democracy cannot depend on one country alone, and that we must oppose dictators everywhere. But sisters and brothers, there can be no real democracy anywhere without the support, the participation, and the leadership of organized labor. You know, time and time again, whether the name is Trump, Bolsonaro, or any other enemy of democracy, working people have suffered the repression, but we led the resistance. And that's why it is so critical that we build, strengthen, and expand our base and our movement. And sisters and brothers, that means we cannot leave any worker out, that we cannot leave any working person behind. To fight for democracy and inclusion, we must ourselves be democratic and inclusive. There must be a place at our table and a voice in our policy making for all workers, women, youth, LGBTQ persons, people of African and indigenous heritage, workers in the private and public sectors, subcontracted and informal workers, workers in factories, offices, hospitals, farms, domestic, and migrant workers. Every worker must have a voice. And we must be rigorously democratic in our internal policies and practices. Look, the majority must decide, but the minority must be heard and respected. In particular, the smaller nations of our hemisphere must have full participation. And it is my hope that we will also expand our communications in Portuguese, English, and French. And we must be independent of state, party, and corporate control. And that does not mean that unions can't support a particular government or party. I mean, we certainly do that in the United States, but it does mean that those institutions should not impose decisions on the workers without labor being at the table when decisions that affect our members are being made. We have to fight for social and economic justice, both in national policies and regional and global institutions. And this includes strengthening the ILO supervisory bodies, the OECD guidelines on multinational enterprises, and the Inter-American Human Rights System, and demanding that international development banks respect workers' rights and prioritize their needs. And it means ensuring that workers participate in defining trade policies and that those policies respect fundamental workers' rights. Sisters and brothers, comrades, these are enormous challenges. And your elected leaders will need your help and your patience. I know I will. But I have no doubt that 4 years from now, I will be able to stand before you and report that we made real progress to build democracy, inclusion, and workers' power in the Americas. Thank you for your time and your attention. I want to thank everyone who took part in organizing this virtual conference, which was a huge success. The base document that you, the delegates of this Congress, have created and approved will be our roadmap into the future. And together, we will move our agenda to improve the lives of workers, fight for safety and health on the job, work towards environmental justice, and demand racial equality throughout the Americas. Look, our children and grandchildren are one day going to hold us accountable for how we responded in this moment. And comrades, I submit to you that we must not let them down. It is our responsibility to build a better world for those who will inherit our legacy. And I know that another world is possible, and that we, the labor movement, we are up for the task. Thank you all, brothers and sisters. I'm excited, I'm fired up, I'm ready to go. And I want to just thank everyone who did the difficult work of bringing together this virtual Congress. The work of the TUCA Congress has been completed. Comrades, stay strong, be safe. And I declare that the 4th Congress of the TUCA is now hereby closed. Thank you all very much, delegates. Thank you very much.